No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for July 22nd, 2024. We are now less than 2 weeks away until SummerSlam in Cleveland, Ohio. We kicked off Monday Night Raw with the number one contender for the world title, Gunther. He talked about what he said last week, calling Damian Priest street trash. He said that he meant every word he said about Priest being a bum, said that Priest has not lived up to being champion. And as a matter of fact, he said that all of Judgment Day is nothing but street trash. He called out the world champion, Damian Priest, asked him to come out there and hand over the title. Priest came down to the ring, but Priest was not there to talk. Priest got into a fight with Gunther. You had the referees and security coming out there. It was your standard WWE pull apart brawl segment. You had Priest throwing one of the guards over the top rope onto Gunther, and then after the commercial break, the fight continued in the backstage area. It was a solid segment, standard, but I did like it for what it was. We had Bron Breakker versus Ilya Dragonov again. Singles match with these two. Good match, back and forth with these two. Dragonov, he slapped Bron Breakker, and Bron got all fired up. And Bron dragged Dragonov over by the ring post and dropped him ribs first on the top of it. Dragonov was hurting for the rest of the match. He was selling, but he did make his comeback. He managed to powerbomb Bron Breakker. Breakker kicked out, and then Breakker took out Dragonov with the Frankensteiner, which Pat McAfee referred to as the Breakensteiner. Looks like that might be a new thing. Then Dragonov got the upper hand again, superplex, hit the H-bomb, but unfortunately for him, Bron Breakker rolled over to the apron, and then Dragonov gave Bron a Death Valley driver on the apron, and he went to try to finish off Breakker, but then Breakker caught him with a spear on the floor. Dragonov sold it like he was dead, and the referee called off the match. Bron Breakker, your winner by referee stoppage. Different type of a finish for a match. Dragonov did a fantastic job selling. He's always great. You had trainers coming down there. And because of this, it will now be Bron Breakker challenging Sami Zayn in a rematch for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. No triple threat, just a straight up one-on-one match. And hey, Dragonov can always challenge Breakker one more time since Breakker did not pin him. Good match, and I actually did like the finish. Not doing a pinfall makes Breakker look like an absolute monster. Well done. Backstage, we had Judgment Day. Dominik was worried about Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso, their whole little flirtatious segment from last week, but Rhea Ripley made it clear she was just messing with him. And then Finn Balor got serious, said they need to take care of Jey Uso in the main event, but Rhea Ripley, not so sure if they should be messing with Jey Uso. We had Lyra Valkyria versus Sonya Deville in a singles match, and Pat McAfee was doing the woo, which is part of Lyra's theme song, trying to get that over. It'll probably work. Pat McAfee's good at making these things catch on. I think the Yeet success can be somewhat attributed to Pat McAfee and also Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs when they were a thing. So this was a solid match, standard Raw match. You had Sonya Deville having to regroup on the outside early, and then after the commercial break, Lyra Valkyria built up some momentum. She went up top, but then Shayna Baszler got on the apron. Zoe Stark knocked Lyra off the apron, and then Sonya Deville was able to pick up the win with the Deville's Advocate. I'm not too surprised by this outcome. Sonya just came back, and she really did need a win at this point, and it was with the outside interference. So it is what it is. And then we had a Abby the Witch video package. She really didn't say much of anything. It was just her basically screaming and looking very intimidating. Not too much was revealed about her. They didn't call her Nikki Cross or anything like that. We had CM Punk come into the ring for one of the big segments of the show. CM Punk revealed that he is in fact cleared to wrestle. He called out Drew McIntyre. He wanted to fight. McIntyre did come out there. However, McIntyre did not want to fight. He said that Green Bay was not big enough for them to have a match or a fight. He showed off CM Punk's bracelet to further antagonize Punk. General manager Adam Pearce then arrived, and Pearce confirmed that the match is official for SummerSlam. It will be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, but he made it clear if they touch each other before the pay-per-view or the premium live event, the match is off and the person to instigate will be suspended. Pearce also noted that he has a referee problem. And at that point, the music of Seth freaking Rollins hit. Rollins came into the ring and he said that he's not a problem guy. He's a solution guy. He thrives on chaos, and he confirmed that he will be the special guest referee at SummerSlam, which I guess it's something. Like I said last week, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre really needs a stipulation. Can't just be a regular match. And yeah, you do have Seth Rollins now in the mix to add some intrigue. And I think this could also help in the finish. And, you know, we were talking about on the No DQ review, and I might have even brought it up during the live stream last week. Who wins this? Drew McIntyre? CM Punk coming back, first match since the Rumble? How does this play out? I definitely see some sort of shenanigans with this, as Michael Wayne brought up. Very much feels like Bret Hart versus The Undertaker from SummerSlam 1997 with Shawn Michaels as the referee. And yeah, we'll talk about this more when we get to predictions next week. We had Liv Morgan backstage trying to talk to Dominik Mysterio, said that everything's going to be okay. And Dominik made it clear things are perfect with him and Rhea Ripley. But of course, we knew at this point things were not exactly perfect with them. We had Sami Zayn interviewed backstage, and he warned Braun Breaker, don't make the same mistake. Do not underestimate him. And then Judgment Day tried to attack Jey Uso backstage. Sami Zayn ran over and helped out his friend Jey Uso. Then we had a 6-man tag team match. Xavier Woods versus Otis, or not versus, teaming up with Otis and Tozawa versus the Final Testament. Tozawa was all fired up, but Final Testament took control during the commercial break. And then afterwards, Otis got the hot tag, busted out the caterpillar. Then Xavier Woods tagged in. However, Karrion Kross was able to score the pinfall victory clean with the final prayer. I'm glad you guys like the thumbnail for the live stream. Had to go with it, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. I know that's what everybody's waiting for my thoughts and my analysis of that segment. But anyways, did not care about this match. You know, it's Karrion Kross, and well, I'm very much over it. And backstage, Adam Pearce was approached by Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods wanted a singles match with Karrion Kross for next week. And like Walter said, I don't care about this. And unless we get a New Day breakup, I'm very much bored with this. And yeah, Karrion Kross, basically, his finisher is like a variation of the F5. I guess now that Brock Lesnar's pretty much gone from WWE, maybe he can adapt the F5. I don't know. I don't care. Quite honestly, that's my take on it. We had Chad Gable and the Creed brothers come out after Otis's team lost, and the crowd was chanting, "You suck." Good crowd in Milwaukee, or not Milwaukee, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It reminds me of my screw up there. It reminds me of WCW when the Juice, Juventud Guerrero, would come out there, and he was in Madison, Wisconsin, and he accidentally called it Milwaukee. To all of us outside of Wisconsin, it's like every city's Milwaukee, I guess. But anyways, back to this segment with Gable. He said that Otis isn't really known for using his brains, and Gable's brain is his strong point. That's why he recruited the Creed brothers, and he wanted to make one more offer for Otis and Tozawa and Maxine Dupree to come back to the Alpha Academy, and they would all be safer together against the Wyatt Sicks. But Otis's answer was still no. And at that point, Gable had the Creeds attack Otis. Otis tried to fight back, but the numbers game caught up with him. And then Gable got a couple of chairs for the Creeds to use. However, the lights went out. The crowd chanted, "You effed up," got censored by USA. And then the Wyatt Sicks did arrive at the entranceway. And then in the ring, we had Uncle Howdy, not Bo Dallas, but Uncle Howdy with the mask, giving Chad Gable the Sister Abigail. Massive pop from the crowd. The crowd absolutely loved this. Great segment here. Gable's always awesome. And so far, people are digging the Wyatt Sicks. And we got that video with Abby the Witch. Yeah, it was a really cool moment to bust out the Sister Abigail and Uncle Howdy getting that massive pop from the crowd. So far, it's working. Got to give them credit. We'll see what happens once they actually start doing matches on a regular basis. But for now, I would say it's a success with the Wyatt Sicks, and paying a great tribute to Bray Wyatt. Next up, we had Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne. Well, we were supposed to have a match, but Sheamus immediately attacked Dunne before the match got started. Sheamus fought with Bronson Reed, left him laying, went for the bro kick to Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne escaped, and then Sheamus took out Reed with the bro kick, standing tall. And then backstage, Sheamus said that the issues with Dunne, they can be settled one of two ways. It can be fixed easily. They can go to the pub and have a couple of pints, talk it out, or they can settle it in the ring. Speaking of settling things in the ring, we had Rhea Ripley coming down to the ring with Liv Morgan. Or not Liv Morgan. Man, I'm screwing up a lot tonight. Rhea Ripley coming down with Dominik Mysterio. Got Liv Morgan on the mind, probably for good reason. So Rhea had Dominik out there, basically using him as bait, calling out Liv Morgan. If she wants Dominik, come out there and get him. However, Liv Morgan appeared in the crowd. She was wearing some short shorts, and she said that she'll wait to get her hands on Rhea Ripley until SummerSlam, and she made it clear she has feelings for Dominik, and Dominik has feelings for her. Meanwhile, in the ring, Rhea Ripley was giving Dominik the look of death. And Liv said that Dominik, this handsome man, doesn't go for girls that look like Rhea. Liv Morgan turned around, showed her other side, and said that handsome men like Dominik, or gorgeous men like Dominik, go for girls like her. And then Dominik had to literally grab Rhea's arm and hold her and prevent her from leaving the ring. Liv Morgan wanted to know what Dominik had to say, wanted to hear the 3 words. And Dominik got on the mic and gave his 3 words. His 3 words were, he hates Liv. He said that Liv has ruined his life, ruined everything. He started screaming at her in Spanish. He was fired up, and Liv just started crying. Rhea, though, was thrilled with this. She was so happy. She whispered to Dominik, hugged him, and licked his cheek. A little bushwhacker lick. What a segment here. Liv did great. Rhea, fantastic. Dominik, one of his best mic work moments. I loved it. It was a brilliant segment, highly entertaining. It's one of those segments that's going to draw in a lot of people. And I think it's very clear now, not that it wasn't before, but sure seems to me like Dominik's turning against Rhea at SummerSlam, because now things are good. All is well with Dominik and Rhea Ripley for now. Of course, now everything's good. And just like in any good piece of fiction, when you think all is well with the characters, things are going to go south. And that's what I expect to see happen at SummerSlam. A double cross. Rhea Ripley's a face now. Dominik's still a heel. And Rhea should be on the chase. She's got to lose at SummerSlam. I think you got to keep this feud going. And Rhea's got to be chasing that title. Excellent segment. Definitely recommend checking it out. You got the soap opera drama, but leading to a big match at SummerSlam that to me is one of the most interesting matches on the card. Now, I did want to mention a couple of little changes I noticed with the show. So during Raw, they had a graphic that included results of the show and highlights, and they also showed graphics of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee as the announcers. And I like this. It's a nice change of pace. It's I'm guessing very sports-like to show this stuff on the screen. It's a change of pace for WWE. And they also announced that Raw next week will be on Sci-Fi. I guess it's because of the Olympics. Next 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, Raw will be on Sci-Fi instead of the USA Network. And shout out to Matthew. Matthew, you can be on predictions. That'll be next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. As for Tuesday, July 23rd, that will be the No DQ review, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So tune in for that, No DQ review. And then 1 week after that on Tuesday, we'll be doing our predictions for SummerSlam. We had Zelina Vega versus Zoe Stark. And before the match got going, Zelina was interviewed. Her arm was bandaged up. She said it's not going to stop her from competing against Zoe Stark. Another solid, not spectacular match. I mean, it was basically the storyline with Zelina's arm. Zoe was trying to work it over, and then Zelina made her comeback after the break. Not able to hit the code red, though. She went for the 619, but then Shayna Baszler tripped her, and then Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Lyra Valkyria, they had enough of Team Sonya's BS. They ran down there, and while the referee was distracted, Zelina Vega used her arm brace to her advantage. She used it as a weapon, and then she pinned Zoe Stark with the code red. Backstage, we had Drew McIntyre approaching Adam Pearce, confronting him about Seth Rollins being the guest referee. He was not happy with it, but of course, Pearce said, well, you shouldn't have attacked all the referees. And, that's why this match needs a special guest referee. And furthermore, next week, there will be a segment. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. Rollins will be giving his official referee instructions for next week. So that should be a fun one. Greg is also throwing his name in the hat for predictions. So Greg, send me an email. We'll get you on predictions. Matthew will get you on. I usually don't have people wanting to be on this far in advance. That tells you that people are hyped up for SummerSlam and want to be on the predictions video. That's going to be Tuesday, July 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So stay tuned for that. Backstage, Sonya Deville and her group confronted the tag team champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And I guess we got a little tease for that potential match. We also had a Damian Priest and Gunther video package. And then we had our main event, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso reuniting to team up against Finn Balor and JD McDonough of the Judgment Day. Badass entrance for Zayn and Jey. Those two guys come off like complete rock stars. Love the entrance going through the crowd. All the fanfare getting mobbed. Sami Zayn had the early momentum, but then Dominik provided a distraction, and then Carlito sent Zayn into the ring post. After the commercial break, Zayn hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. Jey Uso got the hot tag, and then Sami Zayn came back in. They hit the 1D, the old finisher for the Usos, but Finn Balor broke up the pin attempt. Then you had Carlito and Dominik getting on the apron. JD McDonough took a cheap shot. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace, and then JD hit the moonsault to Jey Uso. However, Sami Zayn made the save, and then Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick to JD McDonough. Jey Uso came off the top with the frog splash, or the Uso splash, and got the 1-2-3 victory, pinning JD McDonough. Fun main event, and then we had a little bit of a moment at the end where Braun Breaker ran out there. Jey Uso was looking at the fans. Braun Breaker came in with the sneak attack, speared Sami Zayn, and we'll see what happens next week. Maybe Sami Zayn actually gets the upper hand. I mean, I think it's clear that Bron's winning at SummerSlam, not just because he lost at Money in the Bank, but also, the announcers made a big deal. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso beat the tag team champions. So it looks like Sami Zayn has a post SummerSlam direction where he'll be back in the tag team scene with Jey, and who knows, maybe the two of them might win the tag team titles, which means, actually, no, it doesn't, because the titles are not unified anymore. So never mind. But at least Sami Zayn will be back with Jey, and then if the time comes that Jey's needed on SmackDown, maybe that's when you get Sami Zayn and Jey reunited with the original Tribal Chief. But I'm just thinking ahead, like this could be planting the seeds for that. Sami Zayn should be getting back in with Jey Uso after SummerSlam, and to me, that's a sign that Bron Breakker will, in fact, win the IC title at SummerSlam. So all in all, I thought it was another good Raw. I loved the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Dominik segment. That was must see. And main event was good. Bron Breakker, Ilya Dragunov was good. You had some solid stuff on Raw. I give the show a solid B. Good Raw. Nice build up for SummerSlam. We got one more show coming up. That will be on Sci-Fi. And I will be back Monday night to discuss it. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate your viewership and support. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Spread the word about NoDQ.com. Buy a shirt. Say yes to NoDQ.com. And I will see you all next time.